Back, we're talking with Jim Klein, a winemaker from Navarro Winery, Navarro Vineyards and Winery, I should say, in Mendocino, California. I have to tell you, this is a great little winery that a lot of people don't know about. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jim. I think around 45,000 cases. Is that right?
That's correct. And that includes our grape juices as well.
Okay, great. And the way I understand it, just to show you folks how neat and how popular this winery is, even though you may not be familiar with it, they sell about 80% of all they make right out of the tasting room. Tell me a little bit about your winery. You've been there for quite a while. You get all kinds of awards for your wines. You have a group of varietals that are a little bit unique. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it takes a team and somebody with vision to set it all up. I didn't envision Navarro Vineyards. It really was the vision of Ted Bennett and Deborah Kahn. They're the owners. They, at the time, Gewürztraminer, coming particularly from Germany and from Alsace, they were some of the most expensive wines available, and Riesling as well. And those are the wines that were popular of the day. They recognized also that this was an extremely cool climate. Viticulture had some success, but not a lot of success here. And there was some Cabernet planted, but it never did particularly well, and it tended to be fairly vegetative. Uh-huh. So Ted and Deb came in and they said, well, let's plant some cool varieties, and they planted Pinot Noir. There was a little bit down the street that tasted pretty good to them. They planted Gewürztraminer, and really the rest is history.
Absolutely.
You really need to try to match the weather and the growing conditions in the soil. And while that can be a science, there's also a lot of luck involved as well.
But yours is not only spicy, but it has that pumpkin and honey and cinnamon apricot taste to it, which I think is very, very nice. And it makes it kind of a food-friendly wine, doesn't it?
I think so, too. And I'd also like to add there's some rose petal as well.
Rose petal? Yeah.
One of the things that we do is that, like in Alsace, we also ferment in oak oval tanks, and they're of medium size. And we ferment in the tank, and then we let the wine sit on the lees. It doesn't go through malolactic. The oaks it's quite old. We have tanks that are anywhere from 1968 through, I just bought some last year. Uh-huh. So there's a variety of ages. They don't really provide oak structure, but when we let them sit on the yeast and the yeast begins to break down, it fills in the mouth and makes them appear to be almost sweet in the mouth.
Right.
Although they're bone dry. I think the high alcohol gets in the way of fruit.
Yes.
And it also it makes it hang in the mouth in a way that almost it seems to be bitter. And so that's why we avoid to have really excessively high alcohol.
That's really true. So,
and we're lucky here in the Anderson Valley. We're like a lot of California appellations. We're very close to the ocean. We'll get some temperatures up in the 80s during the day, but then at night, many nights we get really coastal temperatures. So right. It can be even down in the 40s in the middle of August. It's not uncommon to have that.
Well, that is pretty cool, and I guess a lot of the wines that you're producing like that weather change, where it gets cooler at night and not too darn hot in the summertime. That's probably one of the reasons you're not doing Cabernet, I guess, huh?
Exactly. That's one of the things, that diurnal fluctuation, that night and day temperature fluctuation. Uh-huh. In Cabernet, it just makes it taste like celery.
Right. Yeah.
And but if you look at things like Syrah can handle that, and Pinot Noir can handle that, and most of the white wines handle it pretty well.
Right. Well, now you're actually in the Anderson Valley, and what I should mention, because I think it's very important for people to realize, that the wines the grapes that you're using to make your wines are estate grown, meaning that you're responsible for the product, whether you own it or lease it on long term. You're allowed to claim it as estate grown, and by doing that, you're able to let people know that you've really taken a lot of extra time and effort as a winemaker or as a winery owner to go through and make sure that the grapes are handled exactly the way you want them to be handled for the time that it takes before you take them out of the field, huh?
That's true. In doing estate-grown fruit, you sort of become the master of your own destiny. But you can also be the failure as well. And so, your year starts really with the beginning of the vintage and in pruning. You're balancing the vines really throughout the process, and you're always involved right from the beginning until the wine's finally in the bottle and the cork's inserted.
Right. Well, the second wine that we're going to taste today, Jim, is your Pinot Noir. And you've done a little bit extra with your Pinot Noir, and we've got about 30 or 45 seconds. If you could kind of fill us in on your Pinot Noir before we go to a break, I'd appreciate it.
Well, it's Méthode l'Ancien. It's the old way, and we produce it exclusively in half-ton bins, and we punch it down by hand. So it's essentially a very handmade product, and it's made really not very different as they've been making wine for hundreds of years.
And let me tell you, the taste is definitely noticeable. You know you've done something special with it when you taste your Pinot Noir. We've got to go to a break. Can you hang in for a few more minutes, or do you need to go?
I certainly can.
Okay,
Sure.
okay. Well, we're talking with Jim Klein, the winemaker at Navarro Vineyards in Mendocino, California. We're here at the Blue Water Restaurant and Sports Bar in Henderson, Nevada, and we'll be back coast to coast and around the world on the internet when we return right after these messages.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just one receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.